Hi, I'm Tara from the Marathon Mates. On this episode, we will discuss all the things you need to know about the Cape Town Marathon. We'll share our knowledge and talk about everything from the Expo to the finish line and everything in between. Like a lot of other runners around the world, we're excited to see what happens towards the end of the year and whether or not Cape Town will be elevated to a world major marathon status. Tonight we will discuss the likelihood of Cape Town's elevation and what it means to the city and to the event. In addition to talking about the Expo and the race, I will also share my experience of travelling to South Africa and talk about the things you can expect to see and do. We've got the experience and the knowledge, as we're the only podcast with 4 7-star World Major Marathon medalists as co-hosts, and this is the Flying Runner podcast. Are you ready to run? Let's go.
Welcome to the thrilling world of the Flying Runner, brought to you by the Marathon Mates.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Flying Runner. Given Tony is currently enjoying himself in Europe whilst fitting in a run around Amsterdam, tonight's episode has been pre-recorded so we can all have a little break. And as a result, this episode will be a little bit shorter than normal, and we'll be missing out on some of the talk that we normally provide around the week that's been and the news that's occurred. However, it should be still a lot of fun as we discuss the Cape Town Marathon. And as usual, I am joined by my marathon mates, Tim, Tony, and Lucia. Guys, welcome to this short version of the show. How have you been?
I'm awesome.
Yeah, how is Amsterdam going, Tony? Enjoying yourself?
Have you had any special cookies?
Yeah, I've actually we should be doing an episode around can you take a hash cookie before you run, but who knows? We might need that.
Why don't you take one and then you can give us a real life experience when you're back?
Yeah, I might be doing that with my hip, but anyway, on with the show, Tara.
So how has the training been going for you, Tony? How's Amsterdam training been going or not?
It's been going, and look, we'll get there. We know what's required. There's a hard cutoff in Amsterdam that may or may not be as hard as what it comes across. But, at the end of the day, we're going to go over there. We're going to have a run. We're going to have a crack. And, if there's a DNF after our name, I don't think it's going to hurt us too much. It's obviously a big marathon. There'll be 30,000 people running, but it's not a major, and we're still going to have a holiday afterwards. So we'll see how we go. We've got some challenges. I've got a sore hip, which is also giving me some pain down in the hammy and the back, and Sharon's just got Sharon's issues. So, we'll see how we go. I think half Sharon's issue is running with me, so maybe we won't run together. We'll see how we go.
And does Amsterdam have a 5K the day before, Tony?
It has a 7.5K, which we won't be doing, but my son's going to do that. So he'll be running the 7.5, and they do a half marathon during the marathon. So it's a really interesting configuration, the way they set the Sunday up. But yeah, it's going to be an experience, and that's what we're going for.
Because Lucia, you would know that because before Tony went away, which is after we record this episode, we've already done an episode on bags packed going to Amsterdam. So in that, it was already explained in that episode. But because we haven't recorded that one yet, but we're talking in the future as if we have recorded it, you would already know that. But we don't know that because we haven't done the episode.
Oh my God. That's just way too much.
It's that whole Back to the Future scenario. So get with the program, Lucia.
Yeah. Now that we're all confused, let's go on straight to our topic, and we will discuss how Lucia and Tim's training has been on the next episode of our short one, because I don't want to confuse myself any more than I need to as to what date I'm up to. So, as we know, the Cape Town Marathon is held on Sunday, the 19th of October. This will be the last time that we will see the marathon being held in October before it switches over to May next year. So as usual, we're going to start with the Expo. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Lucia, our queen of Expos. What can the listeners expect to experience at this Expo?
So as we know, I do like a good Expo. So it's going to be, thank you to Tim for putting the run sheet together, because I normally like to give my first-hand experience on Expos, but unfortunately haven't done Cape Town as of yet. So if anything's wrong, listeners, blame Tim. I'm not
blame the website, actually.
So the Expo's held the Expo's held from October 16 to October 18 at the DHL Stadium in Cape Town. So it's a 3-day event and serves as the official registration hub for the marathon participants, and also showcases, as most Expos do, the latest in running gear, nutrition and fitness technology. So runners do have to collect their numbers and timing chips whilst they're exploring a range of exhibitors. Wonder if they'll have anyone doing hair or stuff like that, or selling roofing solutions. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see which exhibitors are going to be there, because as our listeners know, we love an expo which doesn't have things which are related to running. It's also open to the public as well, like most expos are. So hopefully there's not a surge of people trying to buy the merchandise and then flogging it on eBay, as they do at some expos, unfortunately. And there's also going to be opportunities and there'll be information sessions where they'll get expert advice from industry professionals, very similar as to what a lot of the expos do. And for any of our listeners that don't know about Cape Town and anything like in terms of location, so DHL Stadium, it's very central to the main city area of Cape Town, and it does have plenty of room to host an event as large as the Expo, because from I know that some of the feedback that people gave about Sydney was this year, even though they expanded the area, but it was still too small. So I hope it'll be interesting to see what feedback it is. So the Expo is open on the Thursday, the 16th from 9 till 7, same time on Friday, the 17th, and on Saturday, the 18th, only from 9 till 5. Now, unfortunately, they haven't listed the exhibitors as of yet, as to when we're recording this episode. But if we do get any update in any future episodes, we'll be sure to share that with you guys, because, yeah, as I said, we're very keen to understand if Tim does Cape Town one year, can you get his hair done? I know it's on everyone's lips, because I went to the Boston Expo with them. Tim was contemplating getting his hair done.
Yeah.
2-second job, Lucia.
Yeah. Lucia, one of the things I do like, they say that they're going to have live music and entertainment at the Expo, and I like that concept because it sort of builds and brings a different level of atmosphere. But one thing I don't understand, and this is with all expos, is that they do their extended hours, and in this case, like it was 8 o'clock, I think, for Sydney
Correct.
on the Thursday and the Friday, and then they shut down the expo. Was it 4 o'clock on Saturday in Sydney, and it's 5 o'clock in Cape Town?
Correct.
So, and with the amount of travel issues that we're having right around the world, I really struggle with them not having those additional couple of hours on a Saturday night. But there must be a reason for it, whether they don't want to overburden their volunteers or what have you. But I'd like to see an expo go a little bit later on the Saturday, which would ease some people's anxiousness and anxieties.
Well, see, I disagree, but this is just me being me. Why would you arrive in a city where you're doing a marathon on the last day of the expo?
Yeah, I can't understand that either, but so many people seem to do it, and usually,
sorry, you go.
And usually they're from the US, where their annual leave is not as cool as ours.
Yeah.
One would also argue they've got 18 hours of open time at the Expo. 18 hours is more than sufficient for people as a window for people to be able to get their bibs and get what they need. And you're right, if you're leaving it to the Saturday afternoon to land in Cape Town to run the marathon the next day after doing a long haul flight, you are pretty silly to be doing that, and you're running the gauntlet.
Yeah, I didn't say it was timed.
Do we know which brand is the apparel brand for the race?
Well, based on last year's information, so last year they had over 90 exhibitors, and Adidas was the largest booth. So be
Adidas
pretty
is
safe
still
to
the same.
assume. Yeah, so
Yep.
pretty safe to assume that Adidas would be the sponsoring. The official apparel sponsor. Yeah,
And
so
they usually do good gear as well. From what we've seen in Berlin in the past, they did a good job there.
yeah, I actually didn't mind the Berlin jacket this year, so it'll be interesting to see if they'll release any pictures of any of the official merch. So that is an update on the Cape Town Expo, guys.
Yep. I also looked at some YouTube videos of it as well, and it does look really good. It's got all the main running brands there, the ones that you're used to seeing. Garmin had a store there last year. Obviously, big Adidas presence. Morton and a few other products were there as well. But there are also some other brands that I presume are local African brands that I hadn't seen before there. There was quite a few booths that appeared to have socks there for you, Lucia. Yeah, it looked like a really good expo. It looked like one that's been really well done. It felt like a big time world major expo, what I saw of it last year. So hopefully it only gets bigger and better.
Excellent. So thanks for that, Lucia and Tim. After the expo, we're going to now move on to the Saturday races. So, Tony, what can our listeners expect from the Saturday running races?
Yes, what can they expect? I just lost my place in the run sheet, so just at the wrong time. But thank you for that. It's the Cape Town is having a 5-kilometre peace run, which takes place on Saturday, October 18th this year at 2025, as part of the marathon event, the Sam Lamb Cape Town Marathon event. While the race is a significant part of the marathon, tickets for the 2025 5K peace run are currently sold out. And they also do a 10K on the same day. So the details, 18th of October, the 10K starts at 7 a.m., the 5K starts at 8 a.m. And funnily enough, the location is in Cape Town, South Africa, which is where the marathon is the next day. Both races start at the DHL Stadium, and basically you are taking one of two anti-clockwise loops along the waterfront of Cape Town, with one being for the 10 and the other being for the 5K event. Both events have water refreshments, stands on the course. There's currently no mention of what bling you may receive, but I'm guessing there should be a medal, I would imagine, but don't hold me to that if you do run it and don't get a medal. I'm just imagining that there would be a medal. So if we get the opportunity to do Cape Town in the near future, and, there is some thought some of us may put in for the ballot in 2026, would you be interested in doing either the 5 or the 10K?
I'd probably do the 5.
Yeah,
I'd do the 5.
Yeah.
Do the 5, unless there's a park run and that's our only opportunity to do a South African park run. Then we might need to do the South African park run. But both courses look pretty good. Tara, you're familiar somewhat with Cape Town and this part of the world. They're running along the waterfront there. What sort of views would you get in the 5 and 10K along the waterfront there from DHL Stadium around towards what would that be? The east, the eastern side of the city along the waterfront.
So if you're running towards the eastern side of the city, you're going to have views as you're running. You'll have the water if I'm got my directions correct, and I do apologise if I'm wrong here, if you are running the way that I think you're going to be running, you are running along the waterfront. You're going to have on your right-hand side will be the water, and running straight ahead, you're going to be running towards Tabletop Mountain, and then you should run back into the waterfront area. Now, that area is absolutely stunning. It is a beautiful part of the city. Looking at some of the rest of this map here, when I'm actually looking at the map, it looks like you might end up, the 10K just runs along straight through to Tabletop Mountain by the look of it, but the 5K actually looks like it may go through the Bow Cap area, and that's got some beautiful houses that are very colourful, and it's gorgeous. So please, my recollections from a few years ago being in South Africa is probably a bit different, but it was a beautiful part of the world then. So I definitely think I'd be doing the 5K, but the 10K looks more scenic when I'm looking at the map. So, yeah. Thanks for that, Tony. Now, you guys, we're on to Marathon Sunday. Tim, you are our main go-to man who can describe courses really well. So much better than probably my 5 and 10K description that I just did. What can our expect? Sorry, bear with me. What can our listeners expect with the marathon course? Now, you have to bear with me. Tim's written the run sheet very weird this week.
So just to correct you slightly there, Tabletop Mountain would be on your left-hand side and the water would be on your right-hand side.
Yes.
Yes.
You'd
not
be
in
running
front of
towards Tabletop Mountain on your left, but the water will be on,
you. Anyway.
the right.
Anyway, left and right. But as we've pre-recorded, who knows? So getting to the start line in Cape Town, it looks like it's pretty well thought of. They have 8 different ways that you can possibly get to the start line in Cape Town. First one is via park and ride method. Another one is a bus ride. Another one is the My City Express, which I'm not sure what that is. Then they have bus parking, park and walk, train services, bike parking, and then you can just walk to the start line as well. So it all seems like they've considered all the possible options, and I guess the best thing I can recommend to any of our listeners is to find out what is the best of those 8 options for you. So I guess number one question is, that's how you get to the start line, but where is the start line? So there is one start, but it has 2 start locations. It's a bit like New York, or it's a bit like London Marathon. There are 2 starts. One is the Stadium and Beach Road start line, and the other one is the Stadium start line on Fritz Sonnenberg Road, which is next to the DHL Stadium. They're both there together, but basically you'll find which corral and your seating information at the Expo. The finish lines for all events are in the same location. So like most of us marathons, you might have multiple starts. They merge soon thereafter, and then you're straight into the race, all finishing together. Essentially, and I'll go through the course shortly, but essentially the course is a clockwise loop of Cape Town, which follows the coastal area as much as possible. The race starts at 6 a.m. and it has batches or corrals rating from the letter A through to the letter N for Nelly. So that's a lot of starting corrals all going off in waves. The cutoff for the marathon in total is 6.5 hours, and there are 10 progressive cutoffs along the course. Cutoff 1 is at 8:15 a.m., which is at the 7-kilometre mark, and the last cutoff is 1:35 p.m. at, get this, 41.4 kilometres. So you would be absolutely pissed off, I would imagine, if you run 41.4 kilometres and they won't let you do the last 800 metres to the finish line. But that is the rules, and the rules are the rules. So looking at that, it indicates to me that it is a 6.5 hour total cutoff from when the last wave commences. Now, don't quote me on that. That's just me looking at the course, looking at the waves, looking at the cutoff locations and seeing where it is. There are 13 hydration stations along the course, and they're approximately every 3 kilometres apart. And Tony, you're going to love this because they have water on all the drink stations. They supply Coke, no sugar, and Powerade on the course.
Finally,
So you got to
finally,
love
the Coke
close.
for Majors campaign has finally had a win.
Yep. So that's a good score that they've got there, and maybe that will go on to some of the other majors as well.
Let's hope so.
Tara, you'd love this. They allow hydration packs on the course. You're allowed to wear your hydration pack. So that's it there. And it's a weird thing. It must be a South African thing, because I've seen it with comrades and others, where you have to nominate that you're part of a running club to run the events. Now, if you're not part of a running club or you're unlicensed as a runner, your fee has to include the purchase of a temporary license number, and therefore you then become part of a running club. And it must be an insurance thing or something like that. So if you're not part of a running club, which I know none of us are, or maybe Lucia, you are part of a running club, but whether that counts or not, you would need to nominate that to be able to run. And as I said, I think it's a South African thing. All right, now let's get on to the course itself. Let me just zoom in here on the course. So, as I said, the course itself starts at the DHL Stadium. There are two slight differences in the start lines, but they do merge pretty soon thereafter. As I said, it is a clockwise loop. So from the stadium, you head to the west of the city, going through some of the local areas there. You head out and around to Rodenbosch, which is about 20 kilometres into the race. Is that right? Hang on. No, sorry, I've got it the wrong way. So, yes, you head out west via that way, out towards through Woodstock, out towards Claremont, which is at about 15 k's, off to Rodenbosch, which is about 20 k's. From there, you loop back in towards the stadium, and you hit sort of close back to the stadium at around about the 35k mark. Along the way, you go essentially around the base of Tabletop Mountain, and then as you hit the 35k mark and you've got the start-finish line area there on your right-hand side, you then go off and do a circuit out towards the beach area on the eastern side of the city. And this isn't a pure out and back. You go out, you hit the cutoff out there at 38.7 kilometres. You turn around at that point and you know you've got 3.3 kilometres, 3.5 kilometres to go to the finish line. It looks like it's a pretty straightforward finish down to the finish line. As far as elevation goes, I couldn't see anything on the elevation of the course. But Tara, I'm not sure what Cape Town is as a city. Is it a hilly city? I guess you've got a giant tabletop mountain in the middle of it. So your thoughts, would it be a hilly race or not a hilly race?
From memory, when I was walking around Cape Town, yes, it is quite hilly. It's probably going to be a bit like Sydney, I would assume, but I haven't been out as far on foot as the 20k mark, obviously, but the waterfront area will be flattish, but around those other parts of it, around the back of Tabletop Mountain and stuff, you are probably going to find it's going to be a bit hilly.
Yeah, so it's going to be a nice scenic course. There'll be lots of views of the water. There'll be lots of views of Tabletop Mountain. As you say, Tara, the beach areas there are going to be quite scenic and quite nice.
And they're beautiful beaches. Beautiful beaches. So, I think it's a place that most people are going to enjoy. Yep.
Yeah.
Just on the course, on our favourite travel companies page, the Travelling Fit page, two things. The hotel they have is like 2 blocks from the start line. So how good is that? But they're describing the course as a fast and flat course.
Oh, okay.
So, and just in our little Google, that a couple of years back, they updated the route to remove significant hills such as District 6 Hill, and it's contributed to a much faster and smoother race. So
there you go. The other thing is, looking at it all, at each of the aid stations, there's medical support along the way as well. I don't know if they've got a bio-free zone or an equivalent product over there for that. There's no mention of that anywhere. But it looks like a good course. It actually looks like one that looks pretty nice to me. I'd be quite happy to go over there and run it, I think, myself, just to go over and explore that part of the world. Always with a view of Tabletop Mountain, which would be pretty exciting as well.
Excellent. Now, I know we haven't seen the bling, but I'm guessing it's going to be pretty special. But before we wrap it up tonight, what are some of the things you would like to do if you get a chance to go to Cape Town? Tony?
To be honest, I haven't really thought of that, what I would do. I mean, I've never really had a desire to get over and see Cape Town, but I suppose an opportunity to see another part of the world that we haven't seen. So I'd probably like to go down to some of those beaches that I've heard about, like Jeffreys Bay, and have a look at, those from a surfing perspective. It'd be good to get out and see some of the African savanna. I don't know. See, I don't even know the geography of the place, so I don't know how far away that would be, but that'd be pretty cool. And we do know someone running Cape Town this year in 2025, and that's Sarah Coltrane. I always struggle over your last name, Sarah. So just Sarah, good luck, and hopefully we can have a chat when she gets back on how bad we were in describing what Cape Town's all about.
Tara, I would love to go there, because I reckon you've got opportunities to go out to the island where Nelson Mandela was incarcerated.
Robbins Island there.
Robbins Island.
That's straight out of Cape Town. That's a nice, easy trip as long as it's not too stormy. You can do cage diving with sharks, so they take you out to the sharks. You can do cage diving. Stellenbosch is an absolutely beautiful vineyard area just south of, or not that you can go south of Cape Town, but south, and I don't know if it's east or west. I do apologise, but you can go down to the Cape of Good Hope, where there's 3 oceans that meet each other. There's so many places around that area that is just absolutely stunning. If you are going to travel, I do recommend to do it in probably a pre-organised trip. I don't recommend trying to do too much by yourself if you are not traveling as a group. If you're traveling in a group, absolutely feel free to do that, but just be aware of your surroundings at all times when you are in a different country. It's probably one of the more safer parts of South Africa to go to. Major city, but there is certainly different parts of that city that you need to be very aware of when you're in it.
And just something else, if I can add as well, because just having a look on our friends' Travelling Fit website for 2026, so they are accepting deposits. However, they do have a note that the deposits are 100% refundable if Cape Town Marathon does not become an Abbott World Marathon major. So I think that's really great of the Travelling Fit guys.
I actually discard this if I'm incorrect or if I'm wrong, but I do believe that Travelling Fit may have actually reached their limit already for Cape Town for next year.
It doesn't have anything on there, so unless they haven't updated.
I could be wrong. As I said, I could be completely wrong. I might be saying something that's incorrect. But
they've sold out for this year, for 2025.
Yep.
But
I have
2026, it's still saying
2026 may have actually been exhausted as well.
Yeah, a lot of people are throwing their hat in the ring rather than go through the ballot. I think, from what I'm understanding as well.
But that doesn't mean don't ring them and give them a try, because I could be completely wrong.
Mention the Flying Runner, you might get a discount.
You may get in.
But here's a question, guys. When do you think they'll announce Cape Town as a major? Do you think they'll do similar as to what they did when Sydney was announced a major and announce it in New York?
Yep. Being the last marathon of the year or the last major of the year, I think that's when they will announce it.
Yeah, I think I think it will be there, and I think it's a bit like United Nations. You need everyone to come together to ratify the decision. And I think with New York, because it is the last race of the year and because it's such a big deal every year, I think a lot of all the majors all come together after that race, and there's whether it's a conference or whether it's a whatever that's held the days beforehand or the days afterwards, they all get together and get on the piss and have a few drinks and come up with some ideas, and at the end of it say, yes, Cape Town's in. But I think they'll want to make, like Sydney, they'll want to make a big song and dance about it. They'll want to have a formal announcement, and why not do it in New York?
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Now it's time to wrap things up for tonight. We hope you've been able to. We've been able to.
What about my tip?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Are we doing a tip? I'm so sorry. Let's do Tim's tip about I don't know what, because it's not on the run sheet. So, Tim.
Yes, it is.
Go ahead, do your tip.
Lace up tight, real snug. Feel the ground like a friendly hug. Run past worries, leave them behind. Chase the wind, see what you find. Tim's tip, just keep your pace. No need to win, no need to race. Feel the earth, feel the sky. Tim's tip says just give it a try.
I don't think, whatever. Okay, do your tip.
Okay, my tip this week. Thank you, Tara. My tip this week is, why not throw your hat in the ring for the Ballot next year? It will be the first marathon as a major in Africa. You can almost guarantee it. The vibe is very strong, so why not throw your hat in the ring? The Ballot opens on the 6th of November 2025, and I couldn't find the closing date for the Ballot, but I would suggest it won't be open for too long. I would suggest maybe 2 weeks. They'll have the Ballot open for before they close it down. Tara and I and Tony and Lucia, we all had a lot of fun in Sydney with its first major, and I think the vibe in Cape Town will be very African and very exciting for anyone that is there running it as the first time major. Unfortunately, Tara and I won't be there next year for it, but we will hopefully be there the year after at this stage. So my tip is, why not throw your hat in the Ballot? 6th of November it opens. Throw your hat in the Ballot and see how you go. That's my tip.
So now we definitely have that tip, and it's time to wrap things up. Am I right now?
Yes.
Am I getting it right now? I do apologise to our listeners. The run sheet is a little bit different tonight with everything that's going on. So it's time to wrap it up. I hope you've had a great time tonight, and I can't wait to catch up again next week. We love making this podcast for you, our listeners. Let us know what you think. Message us on Instagram, Facebook, or email us at happyrunning@flyingrunner.com. Got running tips? We'd love to hear them. You can also watch this episode on Spotify and YouTube, or you can listen to it on Apple, Amazon, and all other major platforms. Every step counts. Keep running, and we'll see you next time on the Flying Runner podcast. Happy running.
Happy running.
Happy running.
Happy running.